So we're going to go over page 3. Let's start with number 9. To run a marathon, you must pay a registration fee and donate $4 for every mile you run. If the registration fee is $50, what's the linear equation in slope-intercept form? So the linear equation, you know your registration fee is a flat fee. So your flat fee is your y-intercept. So that's going to be where you would put your b in the slope-intercept form of y equals mx plus b, where m is your rate of change and b is your flat rate or your initial cost. And then we have to pay $4 per mile. So that's going to be our rate of change. So there you have your equation. So your answer could either be C or D. So now we want to see how much money would you give to the marathon if you go for 80 miles. So if you run for 80 miles, you're going to plug in 80, and you're going to do your multiplication and addition, and you'll get your answer. And what we get is 320 plus 50, which is $370. So the answer is D. You have this equation, and this is the amount of money. So that's number 9. The answer is D. Number 10, let's look at number 10. We're comparing two lines. We're comparing line A, y is equal to 2x minus 5, to line B, y is equal to 1/3 x plus 2. So now, we're going to look at the slopes and the y-intercepts. Line blank is steeper than line blank. Line A is steeper than line B because the rise over run in A is 2/1, so you go up 2 and right 1. That's pretty steep. Whereas in line B, you just go up 1/3, which is going to make the line a little flatter. So the answer to A is line A is steeper than line B. Letter B, line blank has a greater y-intercept. Well, you look at the y-intercepts, this one is -5, this one is +2. So line B has a greater y-intercept than line A. Letter C, line blank has a slope of 2. The slope is in this position, so that's got to be line A. Look at letter D, line blank has a y-intercept of 2. Well, we look at this position for our y-intercept, so that's line B. And for letter E, line blank has an x-intercept of -6. So we can find the x-intercept of each line. And you can do that by putting these equations in the calculator and looking for where y is equal to 0. So you go to y equals and put in y equals 2x minus 5. And then you go to y2 and put in y equals 1/3 or 1 divided by 3x plus 2. You would then go to your table. If you want the x-intercept, you're going to look for what x is when y is 0. Or you can do it by hand. And let's start with the first equation. Let's start with the equation of line A. We have y is equal to 2x minus 5. We want to find the x-intercept, so this is similar to what we had on our quiz. So we set y equal to 0. And then we solve for x. So y is equal to 0. We bring down 2x minus 5. But we're solving, so we have to get this 5 away from that 2x. We use an inverse operation of addition. 5 is equal to 2x. And then we divide both sides by 2. And we find out that x is equal to 5/2. That doesn't look like what we're looking for. We want to see where our x-intercept is -6. So let's try the other line. And this is for line A. Let's look at line B. So let's see if our answer might be line B. So now line B has y equals 1/3 x plus 2. Again, we still have to set y equal to 0 because we're looking for our x-intercept. Then we have to move our 2 so that we have the x on the left side, on the right side in this case, on one side of the equation, and the other numbers on the other. Now we still have this 1/3, so we want to get rid of that fraction. We can multiply by the denominator, so we're going to multiply by 3 on both sides of our equation. It cancels out. We have -6 is equal to x. So the answer for this problem is line B. So letter E is line B. Go ahead and make sure you have it and you understand that, and we'll move on to our next problem. I'm going to erase number 9 so that we can do number 11. In a moment, I'm also going to erase number 10. Number 11. This is the calculator active part of the test, so it's kind of nice because you can actually use your calculator to do number 11. The cost for renting a bus for one day includes a flat fee plus a charge for each mile that the bus is driven while it's rented. A bus is driven 100. Let me go ahead and get this table set up. So a bus that is driven 106 miles, that's going to be our distance in miles. Will cost $100.15. So that's our cost. And we continue on. A bus that is driven 130 miles cost $118.39. We want to write the equation of the linear situation, and we want to know what the flat fee is. So you can actually go to your calculator and do this problem. What you would do is you would hit Stat, Edit, and enter your numbers into L1 and L2. For L1, put in 106, and then hit Enter, and then put in 130. And then go to L2, and put in your 100.15 and your 118.39, and you have your data. You have your coordinates in. Now let's go ahead and hit Stat Calc. Let's get the calculator to calculate the linear regression for us, which is number 4. So you want to go to number 4 and hit Enter, or you want to just hit number 4 and hit Enter until you see what your y equals ax plus b. And it's going to tell you what A equals and what B equals. So I'm going to give you a little time while I do the same thing. I'm going to hit Stat, Edit, which is number 1. I have my coordinates in. And now I'm going to hit Stat Calc, because I already put mine in. And I'm going to number 4, and I'm going to hit Enter. And I see that they have y equals ax plus b, and for A, I get 0.76. And for B, I have 19.59. So now I have to decide what that means and where it goes in my equation. So now we can write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So for the first line in number 11, you should have y is equal to, what's A? Good. 0.76x plus b, which is 19.59. And then the second part of number 11 asks us, what is the flat fee? So the flat fee, what do you think it is? Good. $19.59, because your b represents your flat fee. So that's number 11, and that is really the quickest way, the easiest way to do number 11. You can also do it by hand. So if you'd like to see how to do it by hand, see me and I'll show you that. Now we're going to move on to number 12. For number 12, write the function of the line that passes through 4, 6, and 2, negative 2. We want it in slope-intercept form. You can do this by hand. You would find your slope of m and then go back and plug it in to y equals mx plus b to solve for b. Or you can do the same thing that we did for number 11 since you're on calculator active. You can use L1 and L2. L1, what would you put? Good, 4 and 2, your x coordinates, and then you would put 6 and negative 2 for L2. And now what you can do is the exact same thing that you did before, your stat edit and your stat calc. So let's do that. Stat, edit, that's where you enter that. And then you want the calculator to do the work for you, so stat, calc. What number is it? Right, number 4 for linear regression. And then we're going to look and see what we have for y equals ax plus b, and we're going to figure that all out. So I'm going to do that myself. What you can do is you can go, if you already have data in, cursor up to L1 and hit clear, and then cursor down. When you cursor down, that's when your stuff will be taken care of. Do the same thing in L2. Cursor up, hit enter, and cursor down. Oh, sorry. Hit clear, then hit enter, and cursor down. There you go. So now let's look at this problem. I'm going to go ahead and put those numbers in. Stat. Under my L1, I'm going to put 4, 2. Under L2, I'm going to put 6 and negative 2. And then I'm going to hit stat calc. I'm going over to calc. I'm going to number 4. I'm going to hit enter. And I see that A is equal to 4 and B is equal to negative 10. So now I can write the equation of my line. Y is equal to 4x minus 10. And that is your answer for number 12. Let's look at number 13. Write the function. So all we're going to do now, we want to write the function y plus 4 equals 1/2 x times the expression x minus 6 in the equivalent form most appropriate for finding the slope and y-intercept. Slope and y-intercept means we probably want it in slope-intercept form. So really all they're asking us to do is solve for y. So let's do number 13. Let's solve for y. We have y plus 4 is equal to 1/2 times the expression x minus 6. What property should we use here? Right, distributive property. So now we have y plus 4 is equal to 1/2 of x minus 1/2 of 6, which is 3. And we still don't have y alone, so what has to be moved? 4. So we're going to move 4 from one side of the equation to the other using your inverse operations. And we get y is equal to 1/2 x minus 7. So that is the answer to number 13. And now let's do number 14. For number 14, in 1980, the price of a scientific calculator was $190. In 2005, the average price was $15. So that's a big difference. Assuming the change in price was linear, what was the approximate price of a scientific calculator in 1998? So what do you want to do first? I think setting up a table is a good idea. So let's set up a table. So we have our table, we have our year, and we have our cost. In 1980, the calculator cost $190. And I remember that. And then in 2005, the same calculator cost $15. Same type of calculator. So now what we want to know is what would the price be in 1998. So we can do the same thing that we did before. We can get the equation of that line, and then we can go to our table and look for 1998. And in 1998, we want to see what we get for our cost. So let's use this. Let's see if it would be to our advantage. I went ahead and put in the years. I'm going to show you how to do that, how to change your calculator where it starts, where you can look at the values. So first, let's hit our stat, edit, and put in the data. You can cursor up, hit clear, cursor down, cursor up, hit clear, cursor down, and now start putting it in. 1980 under L1, enter. 2005, enter, and then let's move over to L2, 190, enter, and 15, enter. Now we want to get our linear regression equation, stat linear regression, stat calc, what number? Right, 4 is linear regression, so we're going to go to number 4, stat calc, number 4 on TI-84, or 84 plus, or 84 silver. So here we have our y equals ax plus b, and then we actually have our equation. A is equal to -7, and b is equal to, because it depreciates, the value goes down, and b is equal to 14050. And now what we're going to do, so that's 14,050, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that equation in. The y equals part of your calculator. So you go to y equals, and you put in -7x plus 14,050. Don't put the comma, because sometimes when you put commas in the calculator, it reads it as a process of trying to do something else, so just put it in like that. So let's put it in, y is equal to, and then you put your -7, and your x key is right next to your green alpha key. Do not hit the green alpha key, just hit the key next to it, plus 14050, enter. I'm gonna look at the table. How do you look at your table? So these are really our keystrokes that we've used. After this we hit enter. That means enter. And so now I want to look at my table. You're right, I hit second graph. So we're going to hit second graph to look at our table. That's right under the graphing windows. And now I noticed that it starts with 1. I don't really like that. I want to start with 1998 or 1980 even, 1980. So what you have to do is you hit second table set. So that's really second window. Second window. And in there it lets you start your table wherever you want to. If you'll notice, it has T, B, L, S, T. And then it has actually the word. So what we're going to do is we're going to set that equal to 1980. So we want to start in 1980, and so you take that 0, and instead of putting a 0, just put 1980. Now hit second graph, and look at your table, and if you'll notice in 1980, you see 190. Okay, so after you hit this, after you put this in, you want to hit second graph again. It's really not a lot. It might seem like now just because I'm giving you the whole process, but when you do it, it goes quickly. So now that you see second graph, you want to go to what year do they want you to find the value of the calculator for? 1998. So you're going to cursor up and down your X column until you find 1998. Since it's on 1980, we're going to have to go down to find 1998. It's very hard to see. I'm going to get closer to this light. So at 1998, I see 64. So I noticed that when my X column has the year of 1998, my Y column has 64. That means in 1998, the calculator cost would be $64. So that is your answer for number 13. Actually, I'm sorry, number 14. That's the answer for 14. I'm going to take a small break, and then we're going to begin on page 4.